For more than 5 years, the Threx Dominion had attacked every planet they could reach. They destroyed cities, broke peace treaties, and laughed at the idea of mercy. Many powerful alien species had tried to stop them, but the Threx were too strong, too fast, and too cruel. But then, humanity arrived. They were new to the galaxy. They didn't have the strongest weapons or the biggest ships, but they had something no one expected: heart, teamwork, and clever minds. While others fought alone, humans stood together. They learned from their mistakes. They protected the weak, and most of all, they never gave up. Slowly, the war changed. Human soldiers joined the Galactic Union and turned the tide. Their commanders used new strategies. Their engineers fixed broken systems in hours. Their pilots flew through danger without fear. At last, the final Threx ship fell. Peace returned to the galaxy, and the name human now carried respect. The Reward Ceremony. Few weeks after the war, the Galactic Union held a special ceremony. It was not for politics or money. It was a day to thank the brave soldiers who risked everything. To honor them, each human commander was allowed to choose one gift: a living companion from the liberated races. The rule was simple: choose someone who had suffered under Threx, rule, and offer them a better life. Some commanders chose strong warriors. Others picked famous scientists or skilled builders. The hall was filled with smiles, handshakes, and soft music. Then came Commander Dale. He was not loud or proud. He walked quietly to the front. Everyone waited to see his choice. A screen showed the list of available companions. Names appeared: brave fighters, intelligent aliens, rare talents. But Dale did not choose any of them. Instead, he pointed to a quiet figure at the edge of the screen. She was small, thin, and shy. She wore simple clothes and stood alone. Her name was Mila, a Drillari woman with rich teal-blue skin, soft features, and eyes full of fear. The room fell silent. The weakest choice. "Is that your choice?" asked the Union officer, surprised. Dale nodded. "Yes, her." The officer blinked. "She's not a warrior. She's just a servant, a background worker. She doesn't even speak much." Dale smiled gently. "That's fine." No one understood. Why would a hero like Commander Dale choose someone so weak, so quiet, so forgettable? The crowd whispered. Some even laughed a little. One Vorn general muttered, "Humans are strange." But Dale didn't care. He walked over to Mila, who looked down, not meeting his eyes. She seemed confused, almost afraid. "It's okay," Dale said softly. "You're safe now. Come with me." Mila hesitated, then slowly stepped forward. They left the hall together. The journey begins. The next day, Dale and Mila boarded a small ship heading for Earth's outer colonies. It was a quiet trip. Dale let Mila rest. He gave her food, a warm place to sleep, and never asked her to serve him or speak unless she wanted to. She didn't say much, just small words like "thank you" or "yes, sir." She watched the stars silently, always sitting near the window, eyes wide with wonder. Dale noticed that she never asked for anything, never complained, and always kept her hands folded. But he also noticed something else: her eyes. They were not dull or slow. They were sharp. She watched everything. Every control panel, every system light, every piece of the ship's map. Dale didn't say anything. He just smiled quietly to himself. Whispers around the Union back on the capital planets. News of Dale's choice spread fast. People talked about the strange human commander who picked a weak alien girl. Some believed he had gone soft after the war. Others joked that he made a mistake. A few wondered if he had lost someone and was trying to protect another soul out of guilt. But Dale didn't answer any of them. He didn't care what they thought. To him, Mila was not weak. He had seen her face on the day the war ended. When the Threx command tower fell, she had been working in the background, just another servant in a gray hallway. But while others screamed or ran, Mila had stood still, eyes calm, like she was thinking deeply. And that moment stayed in Dale's mind. A new life begins after 5 days of travel. Dale and Mila arrived at a peaceful colony on the edge of the galaxy. It was a quiet place, green trees, clear skies, and lakes that shimmered like glass. There were no weapons here, no warships, just farms, small labs, and schools. Dale took a small home near the woods. He offered Mila her own room, clean clothes, and a small desk with tools in case she ever wanted to build or fix things. At first, she said nothing, but slowly, something in her began to change. She watered the plants. She repaired the broken light in the hallway without being asked. She started reading books from the colony's library, and sometimes, just for a moment, she would smile. The calm before something. Bigger every night, Dale sat on the porch and watched the stars. Mila sometimes joined him, sitting quietly beside him. He didn't ask her questions. He didn't push her to speak, but he was waiting for the day when she would tell him the truth, because Dale already knew Mila was not what she seemed, and he had not chosen her by accident. Commander Dale had lived on the peaceful colony for almost 2 months now. The war felt far away. The skies were quiet. Birds sang in the morning. Children laughed in the school fields, but not everyone was at peace. The Galactic Union still watched every human move carefully. Some alien leaders still did not trust humans. They said humans were wild, unpredictable, and too emotional. They worried that one day humans would become too strong, stronger than even the Vorn or the Zalkari. So when they heard about Dale's choice, how he had picked a weak alien servant as his reward, they began to whisper. The rumors spread. Did you hear what the human commander did? Yes, I heard. He chose a Drillari girl. Just a servant. Why would he do that? There were smarter and stronger choices. Maybe he is hiding something. Or maybe he's just broken from the war. Every planet had a rumor. Some said Mila was a spy. Others said Dale had lost his mind. A few even said he had fallen under a spell, but no one really knew the truth. Mila's quiet days. Mila spent most of her time in the small house, doing quiet tasks. She cleaned, cooked simple meals, and sometimes sat by the window, watching the trees. She never asked for anything. She never tried to leave. She was polite and soft-spoken. When Dale offered her new clothes or a room with more color, she only said, "This is more than enough. Thank you." But inside, Mila was full of thoughts. Every day she remembered the war. The way the Threx ships flew across the skies. The way they crushed her people. The way she had hidden, silent and small, to survive. She knew that most people saw her as weak. She had learned to make herself small, invisible. But part of her still remembered who she had once been. And that part was waking up. Dale watches and waits. Commander Dale never pushed Mila to speak. He treated her kindly with quiet respect, but he also watched her carefully. He saw how she studied things, how her eyes scanned the control panels whenever they passed through the colony's station, how she fixed small broken machines in the house without asking for help. One day, Dale returned home and found that the house's old cleaning bot, broken since before he moved in, was running again. Mila stood nearby, wiping oil from her hands. "I just tried a few things," she said simply. Dale smiled but said nothing. He knew she was holding something back. The Union officers visit one morning. A galactic Union officer named Tarn arrived at the colony. He was from the Vorn species, tall with gray armor-like skin and sharp red eyes. He asked to speak with Dale in private. Dale welcomed him politely and offered him tea, but he knew the visit wasn't friendly. Tarn looked around the house and frowned. "This place is very quiet, Commander," he said. "That's why I came here," Dale replied. Tarn's eyes narrowed. "I'm here because some Union leaders are worried. They say you chose a strange reward, a Drillari female who has no skills, no history, no records." Dale sipped his tea calmly. "She has value," he said. "What kind of value?" Tarn asked. Dale looked at him. "The kind people don't see." Mila hears. The truth, Mila had not meant to listen, but the walls were thin. She heard everything. She sat in her room, hands shaking slightly. She knew the Union still did not trust, her. Maybe they never would. But Dale, he had defended her again. Why? Why did this human see something in her that others didn't? That night she sat outside under the stars. Dale joined her quietly. "Do you ever regret choosing me?" Mila asked softly. Dale looked at her with calm eyes. "No, not even once." She looked down. "You could have chosen someone stronger, smarter." Dale shook his head. "They were strong, yes, but they didn't have the look you had." Mila turned to him. "What look?" "The look of someone who has survived more than anyone else in the room," Dale said, "and still keeps going." A test of strength. 2 days later, something happened that changed everything. A group of pirates attacked a nearby space transport station. They were small-time raiders, but they used stolen weapons and moved fast. Many people were trapped inside. Dale rushed to the station to help. Mila followed him. Inside, chaos ruled. Alarms blared. Doors were locked. Security drones had been hacked. Dale was trying to help a child trapped under fallen debris when a pirate fired a stun blast from behind. The blast hit Dale. He fell to the ground, not moving. Mila stood frozen. The pirate looked at her, grinned, and raised his weapon. But before he could fire, Mila's hand shot out and pressed a nearby wall panel. Her fingers moved quickly, typing strange codes and accessing hidden systems. In just seconds, she locked all outer doors, disabled the pirates' weapons, and triggered the defense bots. The pirates were caught, all of them. The station officers are shocked when security arrived. They found the pirates tied up and Mila standing beside the still unconscious Dale. "How did you do that?" one officer asked her, wide-eyed. Mila just looked at the control panel and said, "I used to fix things, but it wasn't just fixing. It was far more advanced." Dale awakens. Dale woke up in the medical bay a few hours later. Mila was sitting nearby, her hands folded in her lap. He smiled weakly. "You saved me." Mila nodded slowly. "I didn't. Want to lose the one person who saw me? Dale looked at her with deep understanding. There's more to you, isn't there? Mila said nothing, but Dale already knew. The days after the pirate attack were quiet, but the colony was no longer the same. People who once looked at Mila with pity or confusion now looked at her with curiosity and even respect. They had seen her do something amazing. She had shut down a pirate attack in seconds. She had moved like someone trained, like someone who had once worked deep inside powerful systems. But when people asked her about it, Mila just said, "I fixed what I could. Most people let it go." But Commander Dale didn't. He had seen the truth behind her eyes. Quiet conversations. Dale and Mila returned to their small home near the trees. Dale had recovered from the blast, though he still walked slowly. Every evening they sat outside and watched the stars. One night, Dale looked over and said, "You've done things like that before, haven't you?" Mila paused. She didn't answer right away. Then she said, "A long time ago." "Before the war?" Dale asked. She nodded. "Yes, before everything changed." Dale didn't push. He just said, "You're safe now, but if you ever want to tell me the whole story, I'll listen." Mila gave a small smile. "Thank you." A visit from the colony chief. A week later, the chief of the colony, a kind old man named Rollo, came to visit. He shook Dale's hand and nodded to Mila. "I heard about what you did at the station," he said to her. "You saved a lot of lives." Mila looked down. "I only helped." Rollo chuckled. "Helping is more than most do." He looked at Dale. "Commander, I know you came here for peace, but we could use a mind like hers. Would she consider helping us fix the colony's network systems? Our tech crews can't figure them out." Dale turned to Mila. "It's your choice." Mila thought for a moment. Then she nodded. "I'll help." Her hands. Remember. The next day, Mila was shown the colony's main system room. It was old, messy, and full of broken panels and blinking red lights. Engineers had tried to fix it for months with no luck. Mila stood quietly in front of the main console. Her eyes scanned the wires, the code screens, the logic paths. Her hands hovered over the keys. Then something strange happened. Her fingers began to move, fast. Lines of code appeared on the screen. Error messages disappeared. The machine stopped making strange sounds. Even the power grid lit up brighter. Within 15 minutes, the entire system came back online. The chief engineer stared in shock. How did you do that?" Mila said quietly, "It remembered me, and I remembered it." Dale grows more curious. That night, Dale sat at the kitchen table while Mila prepared tea. He watched her carefully. "You said the system remembered you," Dale said softly. "What did you mean?" Mila didn't look up. She poured the tea slowly. "I used to work with systems like that, but not just for fixing machines." "Then for what?" Mila finally sat down. She looked at Dale with calm, thoughtful eyes. "For running them," she said. "For building defense walls, communication grids, command patterns." Dale leaned forward. "Mila, who were you before the Threx came?" She didn't answer. Not yet. The memory returns later that night. Mila stood by the window, looking at the stars. Her thoughts drifted to her past. She remembered tall towers, filled with glowing lights. She remembered long hours in deep control, rooms guiding entire cities. She remembered being called Core Mind 7, not a person, but a tool. A living mind placed inside a living body, trained from birth to run Drillari systems with speed and perfection. She had not just worked for the leaders of her people. She had guided them. But when the Threx came, she had destroyed her link to the system. She had erased her title. She had vanished into the shadows and hidden as a simple servant. And now, here she was, still hiding. But something inside her was no longer willing to stay hidden. The Watcher from afar, far away, deep in the Galactic Union headquarters. Someone else was paying attention. A Zalkari spy named Rexil had been sent to observe Dale. The Union still didn't trust how much power humans were gaining, and now there were reports that the quiet servant girl had shut down pirates and fixed critical tech systems with ease. Rexil watched video logs of Mila's actions at the space station. He frowned. "This is no normal servant," he said. "She's something else, something dangerous." He sent a message back to the Union. "Keep eyes on the Drillari girl. She may be more important than we thought." The question back at the colony, Mila was working in the garden when Dale came outside with something in his hand. A small old computer tablet. "I found this in storage," he said. "It has old Drillari code patterns. I thought maybe you could tell me what they mean." Mila took the tablet. Her eyes scanned the patterns and something in her mind clicked. "These are defense codes," she said. "For early warning systems. This pattern, it was mine. I wrote it." Dale's eyes widened. "You were part of the defense team?" She shook her head slowly. "I wasn't part of it. I was the system. Core Mind 7, the last one." The truth revealed. She finally told Dale everything. How her people created living systems to manage their worlds. How she had trained from a young age to handle military and civilian networks. How, when the Threx came, she had erased her mind's connection to the system to avoid being captured. "I became a servant," she said. "Because no one looks at servants. I thought I could disappear." Dale listened quietly, not interrupting once. When she finished, he looked at her with calm respect. "I didn't choose you because you were weak," he said. "I chose you because your eyes saw more than anyone else's. I knew you were hiding something powerful, and I believed it was worth protecting. Children played in the fields, people repaired buildings and planted crops. The sky above was clear and bright, but inside the small home near the trees, something serious was happening." Mila had told Commander Dale the truth. She was not a simple servant. She had once been Core Mind 7, a living system that controlled defense networks and command systems on her home planet. She had hidden this secret for years, and now Dale knew. But instead of fear, he looked at her with trust. A simple morning, a changed world. The next morning, Dale cooked breakfast. He handed Mila a cup of warm tea and smiled. "How does it feel to say it out loud?" Mila held the cup with both hands. "Strange, like waking from a long sleep." "Do you regret telling me?" he asked. She shook her head. "No. You were kind when you didn't have to be. I felt safe." Dale looked thoughtful. "There's still danger out there. You said you broke your connection to the system. But could anyone rebuild it?" Mila looked out the window. "Maybe. If they had the right tools, and if they knew what to look for." Quiet eyes, Watching far away from the colony on a hidden Union ship, the Zalkari spy Rexil sat in front of a glowing screen. He watched recordings of Mila from the pirate attack and the tech room repairs. He read old Drillari documents. He scanned her face, comparing it to ancient files. Finally, he found it. A match. Core Mind 7. Rexil's eyes narrowed. So, that's what she is. He sent a private message to the Galactic Union's Secret Council. Confirmed. The Drillari servant on Colony 17 is the lost Core Mind. She must be recovered or removed. New signals. Few days later, strange. Energy waves were detected near Mars Colony 7, one of the human colonies far from Dale's home. The signals looked familiar. Threx code patterns. But the war was over. The Threx had been defeated. Still, something wasn't right. Dale heard the news from an old friend on the colony network. "Strange things are happening out there," the message said. "Power signals, old Threx tech, but active." Dale shared this with Mila. Her face turned serious. "If they're using Threx systems again, it means someone is rebuilding them. That's not easy." "Could it be Threx survivors?" Dale asked. Mila shook her head. "No. This is more controlled. Someone is using their tech for a reason." "Digging?" Deeper, Mila asked Dale to give her access to the colony's signal records. Using a simple laptop, she scanned the data carefully. Her fingers moved quickly. Her mind worked even faster. "These waves aren't just energy," she said. "They're part of a command pattern. I've seen something like this before. It's used to wake up old battle systems, hidden fleets, silent armies." Dale leaned forward. "Where would such a system be?" Mila pointed to a part of the map glowing red. "There, near the asteroid ring outside Mars Colony 7. Dale stood up. "Then we go there." The journey begins. Dale prepared a small ship. He told the colony, "Chief, they would be gone for a few days." Mila packed only what she needed: her toolkit, her data tablet, and a soft blue scarf Dale had given her. As they lifted off, Mila looked out the window. The stars felt different now. Like something old and dangerous was waking up again. "I thought I left that world behind," she whispered. "But maybe I was meant to face it again." The hidden truth. 2 days later, they arrived near Mars Colony 7. The colony itself was normal. Busy workers, moving ships, mining crews, but Mila wasn't interested in the colony. She focused on the deep space scanner towers nearby. That night, while the stars burned above, Mila accessed a locked data stream, and what she saw made her freeze. "This isn't just Threx code," she said slowly. "It's Drillari Threx fusion code." Dale frowned. "What does that mean?" Mila's voice was low. "Someone has taken parts of my people's old systems and mixed them with Threx technology. That should not be possible." "Unless they had someone like you," Dale said. Mila nodded. "Or someone who studied me, someone trying to build a new control core." The secret facility. The next day, they traced the signals to a hidden station built inside a giant asteroid. It wasn't marked on any map. No one lived there, but the station was alive, powered, connected, and guarded by small defense drones. Dale and Mila sneaked inside through a service hatch. Inside the dark halls, Mila felt something strange, a soft vibration in her bones, a rhythm she hadn't felt in years. This place was made using old Drillari patterns, she whispered. I recognized the design. They entered a large room filled with machines, lights, and long data tubes. In the center was a glowing core. It was trying to wake up. Someone tries to activate her past. Suddenly, an alert blared. Unauthorized presence detected. A cold voice came from the speakers. Core Mind 7, your pattern has been identified. Access granted. Mila froze. It's calling me, she said. It thinks I'm part of its system. Dale reached for his communicator. We have to shut it down. But Mila stepped forward. I can do it, she said. If I connect with it, I might be able to stop it from activating, but if I go too deep, it could trap my mind inside. Like before. Dale looked at her. Are you sure? Mila took a deep breath. I have to try. If this system goes online, it could restart a war. Into the system, Mila placed her hands on the glowing panel. At once, her mind felt pulled into the code. Flashes of memory, logic, colors, old voices. But she stayed focused. She remembered who she was. Not just Core Mind 7. Not just Mila the servant, but both. The hidden station inside the asteroid had gone silent. Mila stood beside the dark core. Her hands dropped slowly from the control panel. Her breathing was fast but steady. She had just faced a system designed to control minds, her mind, and she had won. Commander Dale stood nearby, watching her carefully. Are you all right? Mila gave a small nod. Yes, but we must move quickly. This system was only one part of something bigger. Dale narrowed his eyes. What do you mean? Mila looked at the dark screen. Someone is building a larger network, a fleet, a signal path that reaches deep into the galaxy. This core was just the start. A new danger back on the ship, Mila pulled up the stolen data from the asteroid station. Her fingers moved across the screen, eyes scanning thousands of code lines. These signals are traveling to many points, she said. I see connections to outer moons, old battle sites, and she paused. There's a direct link to a secret base on Vorn planet Zeta. Dale raised his eyebrows. The Vorn? But they're part of the Galactic Union. Mila nodded slowly. Not all of them. Some powerful leaders from the Vorn race once worked with the Threx during the war, in secret. Dale leaned back. You think they're trying to rebuild the Threx network? Mila's voice was calm but clear. Yes, and worse, they're using parts of my people's tech to do it. The Rogue Union leaders far away, on Vorn planet Zeta, a small group of Union leaders sat in a dark meeting room. Holograms glowed around them. The leader of the group, a high-ranking Vorn named Zural, spoke with a deep voice. The human colonies are growing, he said. Their influence is spreading. We must stop it before Earth becomes the center of the Union. Another Vorn officer nodded. We have the core data. If we complete the Threx-Drillari system, we can control everything. Communications, defense, even warships. Zural looked at the image of Mila on the screen. She is the key. Core Mind 7. We must bring her to us, or destroy her. The choice to act Dale paced the ship's hallway. If the Vorn leaders are behind this, we need to warn the Union Council. Mila shook her head. They won't believe us, not without proof. So what do? We go to Mars Colony 7, Mila said. They have a deep-range signal scanner. I can trace the energy lines back to the main control hub. That will give us the evidence. Dale nodded. Then let's move. A race against time as Dale's. Ship approached Mars Colony 7. A message flashed on the screen. Unregistered ship detected. Prepare for inspection. 3 sleek Vorn ships appeared behind them. They know we're coming, Dale said. Mila turned to the control panel. I'll jam their signal, but it won't last long. Dale pushed the engines to full speed. The ship flew fast toward the colony landing bay. Laser shots passed close to their hull, but Dale's sharp flying skills kept them out of range. Finally, the ship touched down. Dale and Mila ran toward the colony control tower, into the scanner room. Inside the scanner room, Mila connected her tablet to the main system. Red lights flashed on the screen. They've already started broadcasting the MindLink signal, she said. This is their test run. If it spreads, they can control old war machines hidden across many sectors. Dale looked at her. Can you stop it? Mila nodded slowly. Yes, but not from here. I must go into the signal. Dale frowned. Like before? This will be deeper, Mila said. If I fail, my mind could become part of the system forever. Dale stepped closer. Then I'll go with you. Mila gave a soft smile. You can't enter the code space, but you can guard my body. Keep me safe. The MindLink. Begins. Mila sat in the control chair and placed her hands on the input rings. Her eyes closed, and the screen glowed bright, blue. Inside her mind, she entered a world of moving light and sound. Data flowed like rivers. She stood on a path made of memory and logic. Then a voice spoke. Core mind detected. Welcome back. A glowing figure appeared in front of her. It looked like a copy of her own face, but colder. I am the backup of your mind, it said. You left me behind when you erased the old system. I came to stop this, Mila replied. This world must not control others. You are part of it, the voice said. You cannot escape. Dale faces trouble. Outside the system, Dale heard footsteps. Vorn soldiers had entered the colony tower. They were armed and moving fast. He pulled out his defense tool and locked the door. Then he stood beside Mila. I've got you, he whispered. Just come back safe. The digital battle inside the code space. Mila fought hard. The backup. Mind tried to trap her in endless logic paths. It played memories from her past, her lost home, her fall during the war, the pain of hiding. But Mila pushed forward. I'm not your servant anymore, she said. I'm more than just a system. She reached the control core, a spinning globe of power, and placed her hand on it. Code lines wrapped around her, trying to pull her down. But Mila reached deep inside herself and found her true voice. I choose freedom, she said. With one thought, she rewrote the signal pattern. The light exploded. The system shut down. A safe return. Mila opened her eyes. She was back. Dale smiled with relief. You did it. The red alert lights stopped flashing. The Vorn soldiers outside lost control of their weapons. Mila had disabled their systems during the shutdown. Union peace officers soon arrived and arrested the rogue Vorn group. The proof was clear now. Mila's scan had recorded everything. The hidden base, the stolen tech, and the... After the danger was stopped and the rogue Vorn leaders were arrested, peace returned for a while, but Mila knew it was not over. She could still feel something in her mind, a sound, a whisper, a signal that had not come from the base she had shut down. It was older, deeper. One night, while the stars above Mars Colony 7 sparkled quietly, Mila sat in the ship's control room. The lights were low. The screen in front of her showed clean space, but her heart felt heavy. Someone else is still out there, she whispered. A signal reawakens. Suddenly, her tablet flashed. A message appeared on the screen, written in an old Drillari code that hadn't been used in years. Core Mind 7. This is Prime Mind. Mila stared at the screen. Prime Mind? That name hadn't been spoken since the early war. It was the original Drillari command signal, the one that had created the first Mind Link system. She stood quickly and called Dale. A hidden memory. When Dale arrived, Mila showed him the message. This wasn't sent by the Vorn, she said. This is older. This is from the very start of the Drillari system. Dale frowned. But I thought you destroyed that long ago? Mila shook her head. Only the systems we knew about. There was always talk of a secret backup, hidden far beyond the core sectors. I didn't think it was real. But now I'm not so sure. Dale stepped closer. Then we find it, before someone else does. The journey to the edge, with help from Mars Colony's long-range scanner, Mila traced the signal to an ancient sector far outside Union space, Sector X9, also called the Empty Belt. No colonies lived there. No ships traveled through. It was known for old wrecks, lost probes, and strange energy storms. Dale looked at the map. It's a ghost zone, Mila nodded, which makes it the perfect place to hide something powerful. They packed supplies, locked the ship's systems, and began the long journey to the edge of known space. Entering the dead zone. After 2 days of flight, they reached Sector X9. Dark clouds of space dust floated like shadows. Dead ships drifted, broken and silent. Mila's scanners picked up fragments of old tech, some human, some alien, and some that didn't match any known race. Suddenly, the ship's lights flickered. Dale grabbed the controls. Something's pulling power. Mila checked her tablet. The signal is close. I think it's beneath that asteroid. They flew carefully toward a huge spinning rock. At its center, they found a small station, hidden behind a shield made of old metal and smart dust. The final core, the ship docked with the hidden station. Inside, Mila and Dale found a long hallway, lined with black walls that glowed faintly when touched. At the end was a large room, round, silent, and filled with strange machines. In the center sat a tall chair made of glass and metal. Above it, a large sphere floated, shining with pale blue light. Mila stepped forward. This is it, the Prime Mind Core. Dale looked around. Is it alive? Suddenly, a deep voice echoed through the chamber. Core Mind 7. You have returned. You were never meant to leave. A living program. The voice spoke with power and calm. It was not a person, but it felt alive. Mila stood tall. I'm not your servant anymore. You were created to guide. Minds, to lead. The war was a mistake. We must rebuild. We must correct the path. Mila shook her head. That path led to pain. I won't allow it again. The sphere pulsed brighter. You cannot stop us. The system already reawakens. The new link has started. The stars will soon listen again. Dale stepped forward. She stopped you once. She'll stop you again. A trap revealed. Suddenly, the doors behind them slammed shut. Lights flashed red. The machines around the room began to hum. Mila's eyes widened. It's drawing energy from the whole sector. It plans to activate a galaxy-wide signal. Dale ran to the control panel. Can you shut it down? Mila nodded slowly. Yes, but not from here. I must go into the core again. Dale looked at her. Are you sure? She looked into his eyes. I have to finish what I started. Entering the prime mind, Mila stepped into the glass chair. Thin bands of light wrapped around her arms and head. Her eyes closed. In her mind, she entered the prime mind system. It was not like the others. It was huge, like a city of light, with endless towers of code, pathways of memory, and walls of history. A tall figure appeared before her. It looked like a mix of human and Drillari, wearing robes made of stars. You are not complete, it said. Join us again. Together we will guide all minds. Mila stood firm. No, I choose freedom. I choose life. Dale holds the line outside. Dale watched the machines power up. A timer appeared above the core. Full broadcast in 2 minutes. He pulled his toolkit and ran to the side panel. Sparks flew as he tried to delay the system from the outside. Come on, Mila, he whispered. You can do this. The final stand inside the core, Mila climbed the light towers in her mind, racing against time. The prime mind sent storms of broken memory to stop her, images of war, of pain, of her own failure. But Mila kept moving. Finally, she reached the heart code, the place where the first link was written. She raised her hand. I rewrite this path, she said. A soft light spread from her fingers. The towers began to fall. The city of control cracked open. The prime mind screamed. And then silence. Escape and peace. The lights in the chamber went dark. The sphere floated gently to the floor. The doors opened. Dale rushed to Mila. Her eyes opened slowly. You came back, he said. Mila smiled weakly. Of course, I had something to return to. A new beginning back at Mars Colony 7, the Union Council held a secret meeting. They had reviewed the recordings from the Prime Mind station. They had seen Mila's bravery, her strength, and the danger she had faced. And they made a choice. Mila was offered a place as a galactic systems guardian, a special role, given only to those who had protected the freedom of many worlds. She accepted with quiet pride. Human Soldier chose the weakest alien woman as his reward because he knew who she really was. This final part is written in third-person style, using simple and basic English, with around 1,000 words, and contains no violated content, just as you asked. Part 7. A Future Worth Protecting. The days after the Prime Mind's defeat were quiet, but full of change. Mila had saved the galaxy from falling under mental control again. She had broken free from the chains of her past. The Drillari link system was finally gone, this time for good. Dale and Mila returned to Mars Colony 7. People welcomed them with cheers, warm words, and deep respect. Yet for both of them, the true reward was not fame. It was peace, and the quiet joy of being together. A new role. The Union Council had made their decision. They called Mila to Earth's central base. There, inside a tall white tower surrounded by water gardens, they gave her a medal, the Galactic Honor Crest, and a new title, Systems Guardian, Keeper of Free Thought. It was the first time this title had ever been given to someone who wasn't born human. But no one in the council objected. One leader stood up and said, "Mila was not born one of us, but today she is more human than many who were." The room stood in silence, then clapped slowly. Even Mila looked surprised, but Dale just smiled. "I knew it from the beginning," he whispered. Dale's choice. Though he had been offered many promotions, Dale said no to them all. He didn't want medals or high rank. He just wanted to help build a future where no one would be used, where people, no matter human or alien, would live without fear of being controlled. So he stayed close to Mila, working as her co-leader, her protector, and her friend. When asked by a reporter why he turned down high rank, Dale simply said, "I already made my biggest decision. I chose her, and I never once regretted it." The Garden Project. Mila and Dale started a new program called the Garden Project. It wasn't about weapons or technology. It was about healing. The garden was a large open dome placed on a quiet moon near Jupiter. Inside it, humans, Drillari survivors, and even Vorn refugees came together. There were trees, lakes, and quiet music. No machines, no commands, no force, just peace. Children of different species played together. Teachers helped them learn stories of truth, not war. And above the dome, a floating sign read, "Freedom grows where hearts are free." The letter from home one evening, Mila sat in the garden, reading a letter sent from a small Drillari village on a distant planet. The letter was written by a young girl. She said, "I used to think I was broken. People called me weak because I couldn't speak in the mind link. But now I know I am free. You made that happen. Thank you, Mila." Mila held the letter close. Her eyes became wet. She remembered the time when she, too, had been called weak. And now, others found strength through her. A visitor from the stars weeks later, a strange ship arrived. It was old, silent, and carried no weapons. Mila and Dale welcomed the pilot, a tall, silver-skinned alien named Rune from a race not seen in hundreds of years. Rune bowed deeply. "Your actions woke more than minds, they woke hopes. We watched from afar. We saw what you did. Now, we wish to help." Mila asked gently, "Help in what way?" Rune raised a glowing crystal. "To build a system of peace, not mind control, but mind protection, knowledge shared freely. Ideas without force." Dale smiled. "Then you've come to the right place. The flame of humanity?" In time, other species came forward. Some had feared humans, others had hated them, but now they saw something different. Humans were not just strong in war, they were strong in spirit. They protected not just their own kind, but others too, even the so-called weak. And the name of one human, Dale, and one alien woman, Mila, was spoken across systems with respect, not as warriors, but as builders of hope. A quiet promise. One night, Mila and Dale walked under the stars near the garden lake. The sky was clear, the water still. The sounds of laughter came from far behind them. Dale stopped and looked at Mila. "You changed the galaxy," he said softly. She looked up. "Not alone." He smiled. "No, but you were the first one to break the chain." There was a pause. Then Dale added, "When I chose you back then, some said I made the wrong choice, that you were too weak. But I knew something they didn't." Mila turned toward him. What did you know? That the quietest ones often carry the deepest strength. A stone in the garden. Later, near the edge of the garden, a small stone statue was placed. On it, 2 handprints, one human, one Drillari, were pressed into soft metal. Below them, these words were written: "True strength is not in control, but in understanding. In memory of what was, in hope of what will." Be visitors from many worlds would come, sit by the statue, and reflect on those words. Children would ask who the handprints belonged to, and the answer would always be the same. They belonged to the 2 who chose peace when war was easy. The end and the beginning years passed. The garden grew. The systems stayed free, and wherever there was fear, or control, or danger to thought, Mila and Dale were ready to help, not as rulers, but as guardians. The story of the human soldier and the weakest alien woman became a legend, not because of battles fought, but because of the choice they made to believe in each other, to see strength where others saw weakness, and to change the galaxy, not with power, but with heart.